We'll let them first. Okay, it's 9 o'clock. If you will all join me in reciting the pledge to our flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, good morning and welcome to the March 16th, 2021 Board of Clinton County Commissioners meeting. As always, the first item on our agenda this morning is the opportunity for public comment. Obviously, there's a lot of folks here this morning who wish to speak. All we ask when we have this time during our meeting is that we remain brief, respectful, and that we don't repeat what somebody else has said, in respect for everyone else's time that's here this morning. So if we can agree to that, Sheriff, we can go ahead and start. I don't know if everyone wants to speak or you have a spokesman, but the floor is open.
Yes, sir. I would like to have our maintenance folks come up, Brian Pollard and Terry Ritchie. And this is obviously in regards to the any amendments to the
Sure.
ordinance regarding smoking.
Okay.
Because it does have an effect on the population in our facility.
Okay.
As far as inmates. I would like to ask that the department heads maintain and keep the ability to discipline those that violate the policies that are currently in place. And that, I have faith in all the other departments that the department heads would do that and address it on an individual basis instead of a blanket to cover the entire smoking ordinance. Thank you for your time. Brian Pollard and Terry Ritchie, thank you.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. Can I take this now?
Yeah, sure can.
I personally don't care whether the inmates have e-cigarettes. Honest, Mike said in jail, I wouldn't even give a TV, but that's me. I don't make those rules. All I know is our building is 27 years old this year. Almost all of the equipment in the building is original when it was built. There was going to be huge amounts of money coming up that have to be spent. All I'm looking at is the profit that we make off of this and what it can do. I'm a taxpayer as well. So any burden that we can take off of taxpayers, I'm in favor. I hate to see this go away just because our department probably is more effective than anyone on spending the money. It usually really tight on our budgets. Pretty minimal.
Thank you, Mr. Ritchie.
Thank you.
I can honestly say that having been a guard and working maintenance, that since the E6 have been in place, the inmates don't do the damage that they normally would do to the building. That includes light fixtures getting damaged and flooding, which affects the entire building, top and bottom, because of the water damage. That's since they've been in place. So since we've had them, a lot less damage, a lot less work to repair and fix things.
Thank you, Mr. Pollard.
My name is Kevin Albert. I have two letters to read to you. One is from my wife, who is the jail clerk and also the director of adult education at the jail. The present adult education program was started at the Clinton County Sheriff's Office in January 2020. Starting up and maintaining a program requires supplies. These supplies are provided through the commissary fund. Through the commissary fund, we have purchased lined paper for math or essay work, pencil, erasers, 3 timers to use for timed tests, folders for both classwork and pod work, graph paper for advanced math equations, and tassels for graduation. We used commissary funds to purchase sets of 7 books of Orphan Train, To Kill a Mockingbird, and October Sky. These books are read and discussed in the class to model reading, to foster group discussions on plot, summary, and projection of storylines, as well as to provide essay writing prompts. These books are rotated. When we finish one, we start the next. Most students will hear one and part of the second book and then graduate out of the class. Some students require more classwork time and thus have heard two of the books and are starting the third. We have used commissary funds to purchase 3 math books of a variety of math skill levels written in Spanish. These have all the instructions for how to do the math problems in Spanish. My Spanish-speaking students have really taken to these books because they can work like everyone else, at their own pace, reading and attempting to work and asking for help when they get stuck. The confidence they have shown in math has greatly improved because they can now understand the instructions and then work to understand the process. It is hard to learn how to write algebraic equations when you don't understand the English words for sum, difference, product, factor, or quotient, much less than to learn the math process. While it would be great for them to learn English, it is not fair to hinder them in math just because they don't have enough English to understand the instructions. The task tests that they have taken can be taken in Spanish, but the workbooks they use to learn the information is all in English. Or at least it was until I found these Spanish instruction books. It should be noted that these books are both in English and Spanish. I like to think I bought the Spanish books and got the English resources for free. We have used commissary funds to purchase, other than a few other math aids, a couple of trifolds, everything you need to know about algebra, math aids, and 2 easy explained math books. Students use these in the pods to practice or refresh math ideas. When they graduate from the program, the materials are then passed on to another student that thinks a little extra help will help them to pass the math portion of the test. Task tests are 5 individual tests costing $115 for the battery of 5, reading, math, science, social studies, and writing. If an inmate does not pass the test, that test needs to be repeated at a cost of $23 per test. Inmates work hard to pay for these tests, and often the cost is what stands between them and a high school diploma. Commissary often fills when all other avenues have been used. All of these resources paid for through the commissary program have made the adult education class a success. Without them, an already hard process would have been much more difficult, and I don't believe we would have had the 23 graduates from 2020, nor the 4 graduates so far this year. The reason that my wife is not here is because she is in class with the adult education people right now. I also serve as the lead chaplain for the Sheriff's Office. One of the responsibilities of the chaplains of the Clinton County Sheriff's Office is to protect religious liberties and provide for religious materials requested by inmates. We have 2 resources that are provided to us at no cost. Gideon's provide Bibles, both English Standard Version and King James Version, and Our Daily Bread provides daily devotional guides. No other organization provides religious reading materials to the inmates of our jails. All other materials must be purchased and are currently purchased through the funds generated by commissary sales. When an inmate makes a request, a chaplain interviews them to make sure that this is a legitimate request. We then work to provide the materials requested. We have purchased Qurans, Prose Eddas, rosaries, Catholic Bibles, Spanish Bibles, Bhagavad Gita, and other requested items. Training for our chaplains includes work with the ICPC, International Conference of Police Chaplains, Indiana State Police, and the Sheriff Chaplaincy Conference. Not all of this is free. Travel and housing along with conference fees are paid for through the commissary fund. This training provides standing for our chaplains, as well as a network of chaplains across the region to provide support in difficult times. If commissary funds are restricted or limited, how will the county provide the funds necessary to purchase these needs? Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Kevin. Morning.
Good morning. My name is Natasha Douglas. I'm the jail commander for the Sheriff's Office. I just wanted to provide some statistics for you. In 2018, we had 35 inmate fights with injury and 5 assaults on staff member. In 2019, we were down to 23 inmate fights with injury and 7 assaults on staff members. In 2020, we were down to only 15 fights with injury and 5 assaults on staff members, 4 of which were from brand new arrests upon their being brought into booking. I understand while using e-cigs may not be the most appealing way of dealing with things for inmates, I also completely believe it is a major benefit for our agency. When we have an inmate come back from getting a very lengthy sentence at court, receiving bad news on a phone call or visitation, or receiving a death notification via our chaplain services, the inmates need a way to release these feelings, and e-cigs provide that to them. Whereas previously the inmates would take their anger and aggression due to these out on each other and staff, they are now able to use their e-cigs as a release. There have been many times in the past where we have found busted lights or wires torn and burnt pieces of paper with coffee or something as simple as lettuce in it. We've not had these issues since bringing e-cigs into the facility. Also, our e-cigs are a good behavioral tool. The inmates are aware that their behavior could result in the loss of these privileges. There have been a few different incidents where we were having issues with the pod as a whole, breaking rules and being disrespectful to staff. These resulted in the entire pod losing this privilege. Within days, the issues had resolved and inmates were apologizing to staff members in return to following the rules in an effort to earn their privileges back. After a period of time without the e-cigs, the inmates are able to earn them back with no further issues. The last major disturbance that we had within our facility that was borderline riot was at the end of 2019. We had 0 in 2020 due to having another outlet for their anger and aggression and the fear of losing these privileges. As previously stated, I understand the thought of the tobacco-free e-cigs is not appealing, but the benefit to our staff and the agency greatly outweighs this factor.
Thank you, Ms. Douglas.
Hi, my name is Deputy Griner, soon hopefully be Detective Griner. And one of the things I want to bring to your guys' attention is the need for training. I got hired here in 2009, and in 12 plus years that I've been here at this agency, police training has become more important, not less important. And training is becoming more expensive, not less expensive. For example, one of the classes I'm getting ready to put in for is cell phone extraction. As anybody in IT will tell you, training is not cheap. The class that I want to put in for, which is the bottom barrel, not the top part, is only $1,000 per day. $1,000 per day for a 4-day class. In this department, we have people who've gone to crash reconstruction school. That is not a cheap school. To sniper, to SWAT school, to polygraph school, to canine schools. These are not cheap schools, and if we have anything that we can do to offset the taxpayer, we need to take full advantage of that. Now, I understand that there is a level of we don't want to be rewarding behavior peers or allowing tobacco to be used in our facility, but this is a way that the taxpayer, which is me who lives in this county, you who lives in this county, can better from an opportunity. And the training that we need at our agency, we are not in the 21st century, especially on our IT stuff. We are in the 20th century, and we are sorely lacking. And this is a way that we can assist our department going forward. To me, this is a no-brainer.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name's Chase Miller. I'm Assistant Jail Commander at the jail. I had a whole thing wrote out here, but a lot of people have already talked about what I had put in here, so I'm going to shorten this up a little bit.
Thank you.
So I do not deal with the money side of e-cigs or commissary, so I do not know everything that gets purchased with that money. I do know K9 Lambo got purchased with it, and I'm a handler of K9 Lambo, and I can tell you that we have found meth soaked in legal paperwork that he alerted on. If it were not for e-cigs, who's to say I would even have a K9 in jail? For all I know, the meth soaked in legal paperwork is still getting back to the facility, which is not only a safety concern for the staff, but the inmates as well. I want to finish up here, and I mean no disrespect when I say this, but I do not know a single person here in front of me today. I've been here for 3 years, and I have not seen one of you come to the jail to meet with the staff and to see what our day-to-day life is like. If you do not understand why if you did, you would understand why having e-cigs is an important part to the jail and how it makes our facility safer. Thank you.
Thank you, Chase. Good morning, Ashley.
I just wanted to offer up a couple of facts of where these even came from, why this program started. Obviously, when we came in 2019, we were pretty inundated with the issues in the kitchen and Aramark. As you recall, we had methamphetamine and trafficking pretty heavily when we took office. So we thought we need a body scanner. That's a $180,000 purchase with the additional warranty that we placed on it. So we worked with commissioners then, and we said, how can we pay for this? That's a substantial amount of money. And so this was part of a program that we were seeing great success with. And so we opted to take on the body scanner lease. It's over $3,400 a month. So I want to provide to you just the flyers. First of all, these are founded by a Kentucky jail officer who's actually the creator of the e-cigarettes for the correctional facility. These are not, you can't buy these at the gas station, right? They're a little different. And so I wanted to provide the flyers and assure you these are a nicotine derivative. They don't contain any tobacco products. And so I'm just going to leave you with our flyer information. If you have any questions pertaining to the product, I'd be happy to answer them.
I don't, thank you. Thank you. Who else would like to speak this morning? We're running close on time here.
I'll finish up. I appreciate the time.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
truly, the idea here and what has, the goal is to reach out to resources that aren't tapped into the county and that aren't going to cost the county the government money that it does to help run that facility. I made a commitment in 2019, well, a little before that, to better that office, to better the building, to do everything that I possibly could to bring this to the point where we aren't asking every meeting for something.
Yeah.
And to become, there's no way to become self-sufficient, but we can do our part. And this is a part of what we do. So with that, the endeavors that, we reach here at the sheriff's office are because of the people that work there. Provide a safe environment, to provide them equipment, training, and the innovative things that we can do to make that happen. And with that, the inmates that are there, it's a different atmosphere. And this is a tobacco-free product. It is a behavior control tool. We address each and every person that has behavior issues, and this is a part of the discipline process in the facility itself. I can bring you some inmates, or you please come over and speak with them and talk to them about that in regards, because they do understand and they do know, and they show the respect to the facility staff and to the facility itself. We have less issues, and I know we covered that, but I think it's super important to understand that what has happened is these folks do, and it does, change their behavior. And when they're there, they're a little bit more successful through the programs that are offered. So, I do appreciate the time, and if it's something that we can work on, please let us know. And as the department head, the rest of the tobacco and everything else is out of the building, and we address any of the employees that are not incarcerated. The non-incarcerated people, we don't allow them to vape and things like that. Not in any office, not in any district, not in central or satellite or anywhere else. And we address it if there were the case. So thank you for your time and consideration today. Appreciate it.
I appreciate your time. I appreciate everybody coming up. I appreciate your passion. And since you all made the effort to come here today in regards to this topic, we're going to go ahead and move into the top of the agenda this morning. So I'm going to apologize to everyone else who's here waiting, but we are going to take some more time on this due to the large response we've had this morning. So everyone else, if you'll bear with us. This morning we have an amendment to the smoking ordinance, which was passed back in 2012. Is that correct? And essentially what it does is it prohibits smoking on all county property. I had heard that the e-cigarettes were being sold at the jail, but I didn't know it firsthand because partially I had not been over there to see it for myself, and I had not asked any of you guys about it. So I can take the blame for that. But I did find out about it when I was provided a list of commissary items that were able to be purchased. And so I was a little taken aback because it does fly directly in the face of a county ordinance. You're not allowed to smoke. And this was going on. I don't believe that we talked about this when this program began. It wasn't something that we were clued in on, or I said, even said, hey, we're going to be rubbing up pretty close against your ordinance here. I want you to know this is what's going on. So that's my That's my explanation of why we've arrived at where we're at this morning. It's certainly wasn't to take any money away from training or IT problems that you guys have. You know, I don't think anyone on this Board of Commissioners or our counterparts on the county council are ever going to tell you no about training. If they are, then there's something wrong with them. I do understand that you use the commissary money for that, but again, we get something turned in once a year that says how much it brings in, how much it doesn't bring in. I have no idea what it's being spent on. So that's kind of my stand on that. Do you gentlemen have any comments or discussion?
I appreciate everybody coming in for the support and thing. I'm just having a hard time how to separate the people at the courthouse not being able to have e-cigarettes and the jail does. I'm having a struggle with that right now.
Yeah, but I think we have to be consistent across the board. The ordinance was very clear in how it was written, and so I want to make changes to the ordinance.
Okay.
I guess I will go ahead and make the motion.
Can I respond to something real quick? I just want Commissioner Ewens to know that we did consult with an attorney regarding the ordinance to the county when the program started.
Okay.
And it was because our products are not a tobacco product. And I had another employee that's not with us this morning. Their comment was in regards to the employees, yes, they're not allowed to do the same thing, but these inmates can't go outside for a break. These inmates don't get to go home at night. So I want to offer that information as well.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. More discussion, Joe? Anything to add?
I don't.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the amendments to the ordinance to include e-cigarettes as well as nicotine-based products.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion carries 3-0. Thank you all for being here this morning. Okay, next on the agenda this morning, Mrs. Baber. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
You don't have to. You can pull a chair up here or whatever you want to do. You can go to the podium. It's up to you.
I'm Tracy Baber. I'm the owner and operator of the skating rink here in town. And I wanted to, we were here 3 years ago about the land.
At least.
And let's introduce it again, please. And I would like to obtain the land that the skating rink sits on. It's owned by the county, I believe.
That is correct.
And I think it was donated. So it's kind of a little bit of a complicated deal here. So I just believe that the land goes with the skating rink, and if I could obtain it, I would like to do so. And 3 years ago, I think everybody agreed, but it's been a process trying to get it appraised, and I think it's been appraised twice.
You have two now. Yeah.
Yeah, and waiting on that.
I can tell you they both came back the same. They both came back at $30,000 for the land.
I thought somebody else was.
Oh, I'm
doing it.
sorry, but the
No,
speakers are all over there, so
yeah.
it sounds like I'm standing back there.
I know, I was
I'm sorry.
talking.
We've reached out to our sound company. We're gonna get a monitor up here so it doesn't do that. We had another gentleman did that here a while back, so yeah, my apologies. I'll take my mask off, that way you know I'm talking to you. So I think the challenge for us, obviously, was finding the appraisers that would appraise that type of property, because nobody locally would do it. And then we were also trying to find the agreement between you, because you own the building, you've leased the building, and you've been paying taxes on the building, is that correct?
Yes,
Yeah,
since
since,
99.
yeah, so a little bit.
Yeah.
So we've got the two appraisals, and that's, I don't know, can we go lower than that? Okay, we can't go higher. Okay. So I don't know what the appetite is between you two gentlemen with selling the property to her, but I certainly understand why she wants to buy the property, because she doesn't want to make any improvements to the building if she can't ever sell it with the, not owning the property around it. Does that sound?
Yes, I have 9 more years on the lease agreement that, I don't know if you guys found it. I can't find mine either. It's been a long time ago.
We were unable to find it.
And, so when 9 years is up, I mean, I don't even know if I'll be there for the next 9 years, but, for me to operate and to do any improvements or in the future sell it, I mean, I have had people ask me, what would you take for this? And it's when they find out the land don't go with it,
Right.
it's kind of complicated. And I have had somebody ask that has several skating rinks, which could do a lot of improvements and even add on. And I mean, right now the kids have nothing but this. And I mean, if I wanted to sink more money into it, or if I sold it and somebody else, I mean, I want to keep it as a skating rink forever. Because it's just a part of Frankfurt. And that's my goal.
Excuse me.
Go higher, but you can't go lower.
We can't, oh,
Because it's just the opposite as a purpose.
okay.
I guess,
So just to give you guys some background, when Scott and Steve were here, I know you guys aren't Scott and Steve. I don't expect you to be, thank goodness. But they did agree, everybody was interested in selling it. Because it's not, it was originally part of the county farm. And then it was, we own it because it was attached to the golf course, or the county's 9 holes, the back 9. We don't own that anymore. So it's really, in my opinion, there's no benefit to Clinton County to own that piece of property.
yeah, my concern is long-term, if you don't keep it up or no one else does, then we have a dilapidated building sitting on this parcel that decreases in value. So I'm interested in moving forward and working with her.
Yeah.
We have our appraised value, go from there.
I don't know what you were thinking price-wise, but
What are you thinking?
what? It's not legal, but if it were up to me and I had a magic wand, I'd just give it to you, but I can't do that. I would be doing my job, so.
Well, I mean, whatever, I mean, if it's an acre, sell it for an acre, the going price for an acre, I don't know.
So it's 1.8 acres, and the appraised price for 2 appraisers was right at $30,000. So that would be, right around 15, 16 an acre, right? Yeah, 14 or 15 an acre. So I don't know how we move forward now, Tom. Either is it pretty much you take it or leave it, or?
Yeah, that's at that price.
Yeah.
If you want to sell it.
If we sell it, we can't legally go any less than the average of 2 appraisals.
Okay.
That's what, those are the rules that we're bound by.
Okay.
So just like if we're thinking about buying something, we can't spend any more than the average of 2 appraisals. So it's kind of the standard issue for.
So the price?
30,000.
Okay.
So.
So,
So we'll have to, I mean, obviously I can't, we'll have to go through some paperwork and all of that. Tom
Do we need a motion?
will guide us through that, but
If you want to have discussion and then a motion to make to sell the property.
is now the appropriate time to have the motion to sell it? Okay. Okay, fellas, speak now or forever hold your peace.
Any thoughts, Mark, or?
I think we should keep it myself, but it's something we can never get back.
Yeah,
I'm not opposed to a lease or something like that, but
I can also put in the sale contract, right of first refusal to the county, and that property will never be sold again.
Would you agree to that?
I'm sorry, Bob?
If you decide to sell the property, we get the first right of refusal, Clinton County.
Sure.
I think that's fair.
Okay.
So if I did sell a property and somebody was interested, what would I tell them, about the land? Do I tell them you need to go speak with the commissioners now? Would it be something that I and the future buyer would come up and talk to you guys about?
And it very well, I mean, in all likelihood, it won't be the three of us. So that's why it's a good idea for us to put that clause in there so that we're affording someone else the opportunity to get it back in the future.
So it's possible that if,
So let's say you had a buyer, you're ready to sell, you had a buyer, before you sold it to them, you call the county and say, hey, this is what I'm thinking about doing. You guys want to buy this back, or you want to refuse your right to buy it back? Right. We would have none. We're not gonna tell you who you can't sell it to and things like that.
right,
We aren't.
okay. So
But
that, time-wise, if I did do that, would it be another meeting and then, or is it something you guys just come up, sign, they refuse to buy back?
okay, yeah, it'd be very simple.
Okay,
So,
all right.
so you made a motion, or no?
I'll make a motion that we move
You're
forward.
You're not in favor, so, okay. So,
I'll make a
You made a
motion.
motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to sell the property to Tracy Tabor with the first rights of refusal offer
all right, motion carries 2-0.
For
2-1.
30,000, right?
2-1,
for $30,000. Correct.
for 30,000.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll start getting everything right.
Okay, thank you.
You have Ms. Baber's contact information? I'll get it to you.
Thank you. Have a
Thank
good day.
you. Guys, Paul and Marty, I apologize, I skipped you guys.
That's all right.
So you're up.
Yeah, I'm Marty Grant. I'm the operations manager at the landfill out on the edge of town here. I think I met with Josh a couple
We
months
did,
ago.
yeah, back
Talking with
early.
Jordan.
Yeah.
Darren Polk was here for about 3 or 4 years before I arrived in June. He's still with the company. He works out of our Indianapolis office. And Paul, my boss, he's the business unit manager over some locations around Indiana, and Walnut Creek includes in that. So just wanted to give you guys an update and a name with a face in case you need anything. A couple updates. We got our resident cleanup that's April 24th coming up. I'll give you guys a flyer. We are advertising that and putting it on social media and on the radio and stuff like that. So we got that going on. We also have self-construction going on this season, which we'll be building a 5-acre cell, which will take most of the summer to get that completed. And also, we're building a new facility. What's the square foot on this?
About 14,000 square foot.
14,000 square foot facility that will be being built this summer, and it'll probably take about 1.5 years, 2 years to get that completed. So just wanted to come to the meetings, let you guys know who I am. I'd like to leave some business cards for you guys on the table. If anybody ever needs anything, wants to email me or a quick phone call. Me and Paul want to start coming to some of the meetings just so if anything's going on.
Okay, good.
Sometimes you go by a month and you don't hear nothing. Sometimes there could be 2 or 3 things that need to be addressed. So
Sure.
we just want to make sure we're present and available for you guys if you need anything.
No, we appreciate you guys being a phone, I mean, you're a phone call away, so we do appreciate that, because there are times when we'll get, the complaint. It's nice that we can pick the phone up, get a hold of somebody right away,
Right.
and somebody that's there. So,
All right. And I got I'll leave some business cards,
That's
got my
fine.
email and phone,
Yep.
and I got some photos of the facility and the
Okay.
flyer for the cleanup.
awesome.
All right?
If you just want to sit them down there. or-
Sure, I'll just send them down that way.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, all right, next on the agenda this morning is to open demo bids for the Manson elevator. I think that just got delivered, is that correct? Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. This one will be easy enough to open. Okay, this is from Campus Construction LLC. Campos.
Campos. Yeah.
I think she's getting it. Thank you, Jerry. Okay, so this is labor for the demolition of the grain elevator and concrete. This bid excludes removal of concrete silos, foundation, and the surrounding structures. Campos Construction LLC will backfill with approved material to create demo and disposal. That's $120,000.
That's the silos also.
No, it says
Everything but.
everything but, yeah. This bid excludes the removal of the concrete silos. This is from Green Demolition Contractors, St. Louis. They're out of Chicago, actually. It's St. Louis Street, Chicago. First time I think we've had a bidder from Chicago. All right. One strike says Manson elevator demolition and raising of one site, one structure, elevator itself, all wooden sections of the structure and their contents, not including concrete silos and all debris. $72,800. Okay, 72,800. All right. Well, you're fine. This one's Ridenhour Excavating LLC. Demolition raising one site structure, elevator itself, all wood sections of the structure and their contents, not including concrete silos and all debris. $112,000. And the last one is a company called Complete Demolition Services in Louisville, Kentucky. These bids really got advertised well.
Yes, sir, man, nice.
Okay, so demolition services will be performed as work described in the notice of bidders. And so per that, it would be per the instructions that everyone else has done. This is 89,000 even.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, well, take those under advisement. That's okay with Mark and Jordan? Yeah, we'll go through them with a fine tooth comb and have a recommendation at our next meeting, which is third? What?
The fifth.
Fifth, that's what I meant.
Josh, what was those totals again?
I'm sorry?
What were the totals again?
The high bid was $120,000, the low bid was $72,800.
When I do the bid tabulations, I'll copy council as well.
Yes, that's a good idea, because ultimately it's gonna be up to them. And I think the last time at the council meeting, John, refreshed my memory, but we had decided we weren't gonna do anything if it was over 50,000 before coming back to you guys, right? Correct. Okay. So we'll definitely do that. Okay, next on the agenda this morning is Mr. Ron Francis. Good morning, Ron.
Morning, Josh. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great.
So you're here to talk about the right-of-way sales disclosure that snuck up on me. The last meeting, no one's fault other than mine.
Well, no, I apologize for that. In the past, at least during Kevin Myers' tenure, he usually was the one that always signed those.
Yeah.
We would send the completed parcel file to him to process for payment, and then he would typically sign those and send them back to our administrative assistant, and then we use those when we go to record the document.
Okay.
She just wasn't aware that there was a change, so she didn't put anybody's name on there, I guess. And at any rate, I apologize for the confusion, but typically any county employee can actually sign that form.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be the board of commissioners.
Okay.
So if you'd allow Rick to take care of that, we can just.
Yeah, from now on, Rick, if you want to handle that, that'd be great. All right. Sorry about that, Rick.
Okay.
So I'll go ahead and sign this one then.
And just to give you an update, we have secured all but the Whitehead parcel.
Okay.
On that portion.
On the
of
north side of
project.
the,
Yeah, that's on the west side of the
side.
interstate. So
we just can't come to an agreement. Well, obviously.
Sadly, everything's in Tom's hands now, I think,
Yeah.
for the continued negotiation, and you can always kick it back to me if you come up with an agreement, and I'll gladly close it, not a problem. Yeah, he didn't want to negotiate any further with me, so.
Is everything else progressing well throughout there? No.
Yes, actually, we were glad we were able to secure everything on Thursday with Mr. Good and a right of entry to allow us to go ahead and continue with work on the north side. So, yeah, the contractors are happy.
Yeah.
Okay. What else, Ron?
That's all I
That's
had.
it? All right, man. Thanks for being patient this morning. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thanks much.
Okay, next on the agenda this morning is John Hussey and Chris Overman. Good morning, Chris. How are you?
Morning, guys. Doing well. Yeah, I just wanted to come give a little background on the system. The commissioners, when I got hired in 14, asked me to look at every aspect of Parkview, and one of the things I looked at was the fire system annual contract. They were charging us $4,500 a year for monitoring and also maintenance. So I called two of the salesmen in. I'm like, guys, looks out of whack. They dropped it $2,800 right there at the meeting, so I knew. But I also asked them to go ahead and let's look, does it need to be updated? They came back with a bid of like $22,000. This is back in 2015. And it wasn't even the entire system, which does us no good. As soon as you touch that system, the grandfather clauses go out the window. You got to have everything back up to code. So fast forward last year, John and I just talked. He had a business card. Of course, with COVID and whatever, we didn't get together. But I had some issues with Stanley Security calling in false codes. Our panel was fine.
Yeah.
I know you guys came out once. We did have an issue with our panel. They fixed it, put it back up better. But they were just wearing me out. Not good about coming out. It took 2 months to get a guy to come out. Then they're going to charge me. Act of God. I said, tell me what day it thundered. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
We've had nothing but problems. So long story short, I had a guy who's an engineer and a salesman come out. We walked that entire building. We mapped it. And he wouldn't come back with a bid. I'm like, why? He said, well, you guys probably can't afford. You know, we're talking $50,000 to $80,000 to go from end to end. And he kept going on about pulling wire. And I was like, well, we got to look at something. So with his refusal, I contacted John. We always have the fire inspector come out. He gave us John's name as well. John came out. I think it's a reasonable bid. It's a safety issue, Josh.
Sure. No. Yeah.
I mean, you being a fireman, I'm not trying to tug on your, career, but you got people out there all day, every day, 365. It's a serious safety issue. And it's an antiquated system. That system was put in the mid-80s. And everything, smoke detectors, John and the guy said maybe 10-year life out of them. God only knows how long those things been in there. A lot of them are set at the wrong heights. Maybe that was code back then. They're not even going to work. Those heat poppers, we don't even know if those work.
Okay.
And they're so high in those 12-foot ceilings, the building will be demolished.
Yeah, by the time he got that high.
So I agree. I know it's expensive, and I know, everybody's pulling for money, but I just got to keep arguing this safety issue. You got 12 staff out there and, currently 22 residents, and there'll be more. So I don't know what we could do. I've had time to look at the contract. John and I looked at it. The 5 years renewed, but it's only for a year. We have 60 days to get out of it, which would be August 19th. We have plenty of time. Already drafted the goodbye letter yesterday in anticipation. If nothing else, if we can't afford this year, John's willing to take over monitoring. Now I'm up to $3,000 a year. We're talking $250 a month. John can do it for almost $40. And then we can just tell those guys goodbye. It'll be wireless system. We'll get rid of the phone lines. He at least does the monitoring. They also come and do annual inspection. You look at what we're going to save, 4 times 12 is 48 versus 3,000 that we're paying out. And then John could send 2 guys in to do a full inspection. I went back and looked at the reports. This guy wasn't even pulling the alarm system or setting them off, notifying. They weren't even doing a proper inspection. And I'll take the hit on that. I should have been reading the reports, but you pay people $3,000, you kind of expect them to do their job.
Sure.
So that's my recommendation. I know John talked to some of the council, some of you guys. I think the bid's reasonable. Especially go back 5 years, guys were putting in half the system for $22,000, and it wasn't even going to be what we needed. He is at $35,231. Monitoring is around, what is it, John, 39 a month or 40?
39,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then for the guys to come out, $600 to $800 a year to do a full half-day inspection of the entire system properly, we're still ahead.
Yeah.
But I don't know if there's funds out there, and again, John and I are willing to work with you guys. The system is operable. They are inspecting it. It's checked. The fire inspector looked at it. They looked at it. John looked at it. It's just antiquated. And again, like you heard the sheriff's department, I mean, stuff's old, in this county, and we're slowly gonna have to start catching up.
I hear you.
Anyway, that's my recommendation, that we look at it, and if we do it this year, great, but I would say we don't need to go past this year.
Okay. My recommendation would be to go ahead immediately. My only trepidation is where to pull the funds from. I think we have building repairs. Do we have plenty of money left in that? So we could go ahead and get the ball rolling immediately. We do have funds in our budget for that, but really this is something that I would rather go back to the council and ask for an additional appropriation to go ahead and pay for that. So that the only problem with doing that, Chris, is obviously that backs us up until April 13th, I think they meet. So
Yeah.
Are you comfortable waiting that
Oh,
long?
yeah, no,
Okay.
listen, those guys are confident it's working. John looked at it. Again, it's just antiquated. It's not.
Have we missed the deadline for an additional
I think
for April 13th?
we might be able to sneak it in.
Okay. John, does that sound reasonable to you to ask for that as a councilman?
I'm in a unique situation.
Forget it. I'll talk down. I'll talk down. For now, I think that's the appropriate thing to do. Is that okay with you guys? And if we run into a roadblock there, we'll go ahead and take it out for building repair.
Okay. I
Okay.
appreciate it, guys.
So either way, let's get it done.
Yeah, and the one thing I want to end with, that building's 103 years old. It's a great show. I mean, the bones are solid. That was the second one built, as you know, the history. The first one burned. This one's built fireproof. It's a great building. And we maintain it. So this is something the county can use in the future, but we got to update.
Yeah.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you. I'll take care of that on the council side as well. I'll be at that meeting.
Okay. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, Joe.
Is part of the study that we're doing.
I did not ask you to include it. I can.
I think we should.
Okay.
Just to make sure everything else is.
All right, next up this morning is Rick Campbell. Rick, how are you?
I have the speed ordinance for 250.
Oh, yeah. Yep, for bridge number 55.
That I messed up when it was snowing. That's fun. Yeah, where is the signature?
Just to refresh my memory, that's an ordinance to reduce the speed crash.
This bid to 45.
And that allowed us to save a little bit of money fixing the bridge. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
For this smaller bridge.
Smaller
Did you
bridge.
say that's 400 feet on each side of the bridge?
It's the whole road.
Oh, it's the whole road.
Went ahead with the whole road.
Okay.
Okay, guys.
Which is a good idea. It's a
Yeah.
narrow road anyway.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I'll entertain a motion to approve ordinance number 2021-04.
I'll make the motion to approve it.
Second. Okay, motion carries 3-0. What else is going on, Rick?
We're patching roads and we got another truck ready for dirt patcher. So when the weather straightens up, we'll have 2 dirt patchers going to patch roads, and we're hauling stone right now to spread. So hopefully next week we can start spreading roads.
Okay.
All right, that's about where I'm at.
All right, sounds good.
Thanks, Rick.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get Rick to sign this, then we'll have one, and you guys will have one. Okay, next up, Liz. Good morning, Liz.
Morning. I don't have a ton this morning. Obviously, we already opened bids. If I can get those at some point, I'll tabulate them and go through them and bring something back to you. And I'll scan these in and send a copy to Jerry for them too. This is just a general heads up because we're mid-March. We just had an ice storm yesterday, but before any of us can blink, the grass is gonna start growing. And at that point in time, I'm sure we'll start to get the same houses called in for mowing. We're gonna need a mower under contract before we hit that point. So we probably have, I'm gonna guess 6 weeks or so, but it always creates a bottleneck when we start siting and we don't have a mower retained. So you guys want to figure that out and just let us know who we're working with and their contact info.
Yep.
That would be perfect. And then one other item, and I wanted to bring it up, and it's a little bit of a different path. So we've got a house, it's over in Hillisburg, and the basic situation, we had complaints called in about work being done without a permit. We followed up on that. They persisted in doing work. They had a hole dug in the yard. We went out on one occasion. We asked them about it, and they insisted they were not in fact into the septic system, and they were just doing some repair with their retaining walls. A little strange, but anyway, long story short, they've destroyed the septic system, and they've turned the entire yard under. They have not come in for their permit. They now have somebody living in the house illegally. We're continuing to fight it from our end, but we're very skeptical that we'll be able to get a septic on the lot since they've disturbed everything, unless they do a mound system or something more expensive, which is going to be difficult in that location with the value of the property. One possible idea is not a habitable structure. At the moment, it does not have a COO, and it is in terrible shape. I wanted to see if there was any willingness or interest in having us go ahead and tag it with a fully repair or tear down order to start a little bit quicker timeline, hopefully to motivate them to come talk to the health department and to our office and get themselves in compliance. But if they don't, then to start a process towards being able to remove it. It's causing issues for the neighbors, both in terms of dumping raw sewage and in terms of its condition, and the state of the property has gone rapidly downhill throughout this process. Mark may actually be familiar with this one because it overlapped before he'd left our office. But I didn't quite feel comfortable since the complaints to us were about construction, tearing up the yard, digging into septic, not specifically asking for a tear down. I felt like I should enter into a conversation before I just jumped out and used that to try to bring them to the table.
Okay. I would make a motion to go ahead and move forward with the tagging. And did you check about the electricity, see if we could have that shut off?
I've reached out to our attorney because it's a little bit of a different situation. This one had electricity all along. We didn't authorize it. So I need to make sure we can legally, with COVID, not get ourselves into trouble. Jay is actually on vacation right now, so he'll be back next Monday. I'm hoping to get an answer then. If we can, we will. That will also.
Yeah, I guess with someone living there illegally. So.
But it may be we need a court order, in which case we'll have to pursue that. If it's in the process of being condemned, then that might be another way that we can pull power. But I wanted to consult legal advice before making that move since it wasn't straightforward.
I'll second, Mark.
Okay, motion carries 3-0. Go ahead with the tagging process on the property.
Yep, we'll send a letter out and hopefully they'll talk to us. But if not, we'll have to talk about it in
I
the
have a
future.
question about the grass ordinance. Do you think that's a worthy cause to spend taxpayers' money to mow yards?
I feel like that's a little bit of a loaded question. So let me tell you, I guess, what we've experienced in our office, and you three can form your own conclusions off of it. So in urban areas such as Frankfort or Colfax or Mulberry, you have a lot of houses in a very small space, and it's generally expected that you're going to have mowed lawns, and a lot of those houses are occupied when they're not being mowed. Out in rural areas, the houses that we find ourselves tagging are often by themselves, away from other things. There are almost always cases where you have someone deceased or a foreclosure issue where you can't contact a responsible party. We have one where previous owner is dead and it hasn't transferred and it's sort of stuck in limbo. So they're properties that are already difficult, and they're often right next door to a field strip or something else that's tall that's exempt. I think everyone has their own opinion on that, but I live in the country. I do not have an unmowed lawn next to me. I get mice and rats. It's just part of being surrounded by farm fields, and you just have to trap them and deal with it. So we We do not have, and I'd have to pull the numbers to be sure, but we do not have a great batting average with recovering money because our properties are not normally owned. What often happens is they end up going through certificate sales and we wipe the liens and just sort of lose the money. I don't know that, unlike unsafe buildings, it doesn't have a permanent effect on the value of the area. That said, it does provide some temporary relief. I think it's something that if we were going to consider changing, we should probably pull the ordinance and look at it and have a more in-depth review and discussion about the pros and cons, and maybe find out how much money we really are recouping versus what we're spending, instead of me guessing. And if you'd like me to do that, I'm happy to.
If you would, yeah. And if you can compile like maybe the last 3-year average, what we spent, so we have an idea.
Okay, we'll start on that. We'll bring it back either this next meeting or the meeting after.
Okay.
Anything else? Thank you so much. I hope you have a great day.
Jerry, she did bring up a good point about mowing those type of properties. I think in the past we've used Chris Keller. I don't know if that's still, if we can reach back out to him and see if he's interested in continuing. That way we can get that checked off our list for spring.
Okay, old business. We have an engineering agreement to our I-65 State Road 28 water project with Westlers, who the city has chosen to do their inspections for the project for them. And as part of our original agreement between the Frankfort Municipal Utilities and the Clinton County Board of Commissioners, we agreed to pay for the inspector of their choosing, who happens to be Mr. Wessler. And we've had a great relationship, and we're here to amend that agreement because we are amending our scope of work. As you both know, we're thinking about, or not thinking about, we're going to go ahead with moving forward with constructing a water tower and booster station. So we add more to the project. Marty has more to inspect, so it takes more time and funds to do that. So I don't know if I did a good job explaining that or not, Marty.
Thank you. Yes, but there are a few added parameters on this. When we signed our original agreement last April, we had anticipated that the water and sewer construction was going to occur simultaneously.
Right.
Under one contract, one contractor. That pretty quickly then at the end of April got split apart, and JG Case did the water project, and of course we had a resident project representative on that overseeing, at times too, overseeing JG Case's water work. And then the sewer contract was let, and Atlas Excavating is doing that, and they have had three different crews working. And so at times we've had some overlap where we've had 2 and sometimes 3 RPRs out there overseeing upwards of 4 crews. Juggling that. So our budget has been depleted. We're basically going to be at budget before the end of this month. And then we've been meeting with HWC, talking with Baker Tilly with regard to the dollar amount and everything going into the extra project to add an elevated tank, add a booster station. And so the tank observation, or some people call it inspection, is we would be subcontracting that out to tank industry consultants. They're doing the current projects with the city of Frankfort right now. They're going to be rehabbing the west tank. And so tank industry consultants is doing that. We would subcontract that to them because they are a specialty tank engineering and inspection firm. Sure. So they would then be reviewing the design, the shop drawings, the submittals, doing the construction engineering, and then they're also going to be out there inspecting the foundation, all the steel, the welds, the priming, the painting, and those are the most important things, obviously, with a tank, because it's going to be a steel tank. And so that's part of our amendment here. The first part is to extend, because Atlas is still going with 3 crews, and we anticipate there will probably be a mad rush, and they're supposed to be done in June. So
that's the target.
That's the target, right?
The target date.
And so we have that, and then we would have an additional RPR then when the booster station is brought in, and the piping and everything on the tank site, we will be observing that and overseeing that. In addition, We do the SCADA, the computer controls for the wastewater, and now for the water with the water plant expansion and everything. We'll be doing the computer programming so that the lift stations and the tank and the booster station can talk back to their computer systems so that they can operate the system. And we do that programming for the utilities, so we've added that to this amendment also. All these numbers were given to HWC and to Baker Tilly several months ago, but most recently just last month.
Sure.
As part of this.
Okay. Gentlemen, have any questions? I don't. Okay. I entertain a motion. Sorry, Mark, did you have any questions?
No.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the.
Okay. Second. Okay, motion carries 3-0. Thanks, Marty. Spot for you too, Britt. Okay, next under old business, we have, we've already knocked out the speed reduction ordinance. We have a JGK's construction pay app number 10. We needs our approval to go forward. Entertain a motion to approve that.
I'll make a motion to approve it. Second.
Okay, motion carries 3-0. Then we have a resolution 2021-03 authorizing the local match commitment and submittals for the EDA application. We're still going through that. I think we talked a little bit about that at the last meeting, but I hope this is the last set of paperwork that we have to sign for that to satisfy the Economic Development Administration, but who knows?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2021-03.
Second.
Okay, motion carries 3-0. All right. New business, we already knocked out the amendment to the smoking ordinance. We have resolution 2021-04, which designates a single legal signer for legal contracts through DocuSign, which I believe that NDOT is switching exclusively to DocuSign, so we need to decide who's going to be the legal signatory on that. So I don't know.
Do we just need a motion to, since you're president, we'll just have you sign for it?
Okay. Yep.
I'll make that motion to designate you as the signer for the e-sign for NDOT.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. Motion carries 3-0 to approve 2021-04. Okay, gentlemen, have any other new business?
Something I was wondering. Can we get no pat signs or something put around the courthouse?
Sure.
It seems like it's just dog dumping
walk.
around every time you walk through there. There's
Yeah.
on the sidewalks and grass,
Absolutely.
piles of it.
Absolutely. Okay, department head reports.
Just have a reminder, tomorrow the merit board will meet and hopefully select 2 people for merit positions to fill open vacancies that are already budgeted.
Okay.
Just a reminder, we talked about it the last meeting.
Yep.
That's it.
New deputies, gotcha. Okay, no other department heads? Okay, commissioners? Does have anything to report? Okay. I had the initial meeting yesterday with RQAW. It's going to help us, they're going to get us a price on what it would cost to do a review and like a forensic architectural study of the Regents building, the jail, and the Parkview home. So they're going to be getting us a price on what that would take. That way we can get some kind of an idea what we're going to need to go forward with our idea of the facilities bond. to go ahead and start making the necessary upgrades that we need to these aging buildings. So, as you recall, we already had the work for this done through American Structure Point for the courthouse, so we're good there. We just have to update our pricing. It's 3 years old, so I'm sure that won't be good news. But so that should have us covered on. They're gonna go through they are gonna want to come see the jail sheriff, so they can see your HVAC system and anything else that you need. So I'll be setting that up. Her name's Brianna Stanger, and she works for RQAW, and I'm sure they're going to have a team of engineers that are going to want to come through there and look. So I'll facilitate that meeting through you, and then hopefully you could have your Mr. Ritchie or Mr. Pollard or whoever point out anything you guys want to point out. Now's the time when we're going through there. So
Absolutely.
okay. So we did that. I met with Henshaw Roofing the other day. Took them upstairs, showed them the roof. They did the repair where they repaired the seams on the west side of the clock tower last fall, which cured some of our problems, but we still have significant issues with the roof. The rubber, I don't know a lot about roofing, but I learned a little bit the other day. Some of the rubber is pulled away from the insulation, so it's just kind of flapping. It's just a matter of time before it flaps, clear off. And it's the west side has come loose and the east side. North and south side are pretty good, but we don't know how old it is. We don't know if there's asphalt still underneath it from before. So I asked them to put together a price of what it would take to tear it all off, deck it, repair the deck. Some of it's metal decking, some of it's shiplap or something. And so anyway, they're in the process of doing that. So I'm trying to think of what else. There is one more item this morning that I want to bring up, and it's the sheriff's commissary fund and what it's being used for. It's come to my attention that there are attorney's fees being paid out of that, and that's not something that's I don't think is appropriate. So it would be my recommendation for Tom Little to seek injunctive relief to have that ceased. So that's my recommendation to you guys. You can decide what you want to do. From there. I mean,
I would agree. I think
That is what's happening, yes.
Yeah. So with that, I'll make the motion that we authorize and request our county attorney to file injunctive relief in reference to all the expenditures from the sheriff's commissary fund and any proceeds generated from commissary sales until such a time it can be ascertained exactly what the monies are being spent on, in particular the attorney fees. Also, I'd like to add that we'll have relief sought that would include cessation of interference from the sheriff's office, any state board of accounts investigations, or any Indiana State Police investigations. And lastly, I'd also add that the e-cigarettes and smokeless tobacco be added to the injunctive relief should they not comply with our ordinance.
okay. So we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it, but how long do they have to get rid of the e-cigarettes? It's not gonna be overnight, I don't think.
2 weeks, Tom?
Yeah, whatever you guys.
Okay. We can pick. Okay.
We planned on April 5th would be the 2 weeks. Typical amendments.
2 weeks.
Okay, motion carries 3-0. Any other reports this morning, commissioners? Have anything else?
Nope.
Okay, hearing nothing, we'll move on to claims. We have claims dated Friday, March 5th, 2021, in the amount of $27,877.73. We have Friday claims dated March 5th, 2021, in the amount of $6,741.54. Friday claims dated March 12th, 2021, in the amount of $91,932.55. And we have bi-weekly claims dated March 16th, 2021, in the amount of $366,000. 4 digits there, and they don't, one of them belong. $366,843.07. Court claims dated March 16th, 2021 in the amount of $13,146.55. You gentlemen have had the claims docket in front of you for at least since last Thursday. Did you see anything you wish to dispute before approving?
No, I'll make a motion to approve them, but can we get that error fixed on the?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
correct on the 20.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve it. Second.
Okay, claims are approved 3-0. Okay, in the matter of payroll, we have payroll dated February the 26th, 2021 in the amount of $421,979.88. We have surplus dated March 16th, 2021 in the amount of $3,532.91.
Motion to approve. Second.
Okay, motion carries 3-0 for payroll. We have minutes dated March 1st, 2021. From our previous meeting. If you guys see anything you wish to change or correct?
Nope. Motion to approve. Second.
Okay, motion to approve minutes. Carries 3-0. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion. So, second.
Okay, meeting adjourned.
And then, after that, the wall.